Well, Perth head coach Alex Apakis has said every game is like a final now, and as we start the run home in the Liberty A-League, it certainly feels like that today. Brisbane journeyed to Perth in a massive Saturday afternoon clash in the first meeting between the two sides in 442 days. Perth have won both meetings last campaign and will be looking to become the first side in the history of this fixture to get 3 consecutive wins. Well, as the women in purple currently sit 7 points off the final spots, let's have a look at how they line up for the clash with Brisbane today. Kim Carroll against her former side, her home state side, in game number 150. Kiwi Hannah Blake makes her first start for Perth Glory after getting a goal in her debut against Western United, and American star Sierra Hinson starts up top as she has 7 goal involvements in her last 4 games at Macedonia Park. Hensley Handcuff is on the bench today, reportedly being unwell this morning after returning from US under-23 duties, meaning Bella Shuttleworth takes the starting duties. Got a good run at it last year towards the back end of the year due to injuries. After starring for the Matildas on Wednesday night, Katrina Gorry and Larissa Crummer are back for the Raw, with the latter playing game 100. And what a week it is. The A-League's Pride celebration. Captain Tash Rigby at the front there for Perth Glory. The rainbow socks, the rainbow armband, the rainbow numbers to boot. A brilliant initiative. There is Kim Carroll just behind goalkeeper Morgan Aquino. What a journey it's been for her. In the Liberty A-League, from Tully up in North Queensland, Larissa Crummer, a Queenslander as well, in game 100. Raised in Tewantin on the Sunshine Coast. Here's Larissa Crummer. Started for the Matildas on Wednesday night, playing in a bit of a right wing role. Followed right behind her by Katrina Gorry as well, who obviously scored in that game. A long range strike. And what a hit it was. Gareth McPherson, his second year at the helm in the Sunshine State. Very up and down tenure so far. Katrina Gorry and Larissa Crummer, the 2 top scorers for Brisbane, both on 3 goals apiece. So if you're Gareth McPherson, you probably want a little bit more out of Larissa Crummer. Can she add to her goals tally today? And Sierra Hinson certainly will be the one to watch for the Perth Glory. 4 goals and 5 assists. Campbell Johnson here in commentary on 10 Play and Paramount Plus, and joined by former Matilda, Grace Gill. Grace, welcome to the call, and a big opportunity for Perth Glory today.
Thanks so much, Cam. Yeah, it's a big match this afternoon, and this feels like a must-win for both sides. 3 points are a necessary result to keep them in the finals race.
And a surprise inclusion, perhaps, Hannah Blake, her first start in purple. The Kiwi who's been playing over in the States for Michigan University. A big inclusion for them as well, and a good opportunity for Hannah Blake.
Yeah, massive afternoon for Hannah Blake, the Kiwi, and Perth today without Susan Fonsoncam, and you imagine that's where Blake has slotted into the side. Fonsoncam, who has been in great form for Perth, so it will be a big afternoon for Blake.
Ella Mastrantonio, must be said, returning from suspension as well. Hasn't played since the 15th of January. She's on the bench today, and a big inclusion for Alex Apakis in the run home. And we are underway in the Liberty A-League as Perth Glory host the Brisbane Roar. Morgan Aquino starting between the sticks for Perth Glory against her former side. Plenty of overlap between the two teams. Made 4 senior appearances for the Brisbane Roar in the 2020-21 season. Here's Connors, the American, driving forward. Dispossessed. And one back. But foul there in the middle of the park on the far side. Sophia Sakalis, former Melbourne City train on. Brought down by India Page Riley. A strong addition to this Brisbane Roar side mid-season. Coming over from Fortuna Horing for her second stint at the club. The Kiwi international scored on her return as well.
She's been a really important inclusion for this Brisbane Roar side, and interesting as well for me this afternoon for Brisbane, seeing both Larissa Crummer, Katrina Gorry in the side.
Crummer out wide for Connors. Delivers there, but just floats out. No play, not the ball she was hoping for.
What we are seeing from Katrina Gorry, though, is just license to move around, license to find herself centrally or go out wide. And she's just starting to pick off a few nice passes, rather, between herself and Larissa Crummer, but Shay Connors looks to be in a bit of strife here.
Doesn't look in too much pain, but will undoubtedly have to just go off momentarily at least. Both sides taking the opportunity to have a little bit of water, rehydrate. She looks to be okay as we have another look back at the cause here. This is the cross from just before that floated out of play. Perhaps an ankle there. Morgan Aquino keen to get things underway, and it's been a real tussle. We spoke about this pre-game. Grace Gill, we were off air about that tussle between Morgan Aquino and Sarah Langman. That battle for the starting berth as Sierra Hinson bearing down. Belle Shuttleworth equal to it.
Yeah, not quite the shot that I'm sure Hinson would have wanted to get away. There was a good play on the counter from Perth Glory, and the ball over the top from Folletta found Hinson really well. Hinson's just not got the purchase behind this strike that she would have liked.
Hannah Lowry able to knock one over the head of Bella Shuttleworth out of nowhere. All too fast. And Hannah Lowry gets her second goal of the season in spectacular fashion. We have a look here, Bella Shuttleworth just slipping over, and Hannah Lowry will take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, she is certainly starting to grow more into this first half, finding herself on the ball a bit more, getting involved in some of those challenges. But to your point, Cam, about the midfield equality in the Brisbane Roar side, most certainly when you've got the likes of Katrina Gorry pulling the strings, playing in really well with Larissa Crummer today, but also the familiarity of Ish Norrie, who's just such an enforcer there, and Holly Palmer too, who we have mentioned, has had an excellent season. The midfield three are of very good quality for this Brisbane Roar side.
Hannah Keane making a good run. There's a great ball forward as well. Tash Rigby providing support. Can she deliver? Goes back out wide to Hannah Blake.
Well, you'd be forgiven rather for calling her Hannah Keane goal scorer prolific for Western United, but it's the international Hannahs that have proved important in this league.
And a lovely touch on the corner flag as well. I'm sure Perth would love to have Hannah Keane on their side. She's signed a 2-year extension, however, and it's in! An Olympico! The second we've seen from that very same corner this season. This time it's Hannah Lowry with her second of the game. A third of the season. We saw Alex Chidiac score one from exactly there against Perth Glory, and now Perth do it the other way.
Well, Hannah Lowry, we speak about her technical ability and the need for her to get on the ball more, but she's taken matters into her own hands this afternoon. And on that beautiful left wand of her foot, she's found the far netting mid that corner, and Hannah Lowry has 2 for the day.
A brace for the youngster, the former and current young Matilda. Blake lifting it over the top for Hinson. And Shuttleworth forced to make a save at a near post. And does so this time, denying the American.
There's an awkward one there for Lind and Shuttleworth to deal with. Lovely little help on over the top from Blake, and just bouncing awkwardly. Shuttleworth had to cover her near post and see that out.
Sakalis does well, drawing the foul as well off Aisha Norrie. 3 minutes to be added on here at Macedonia Park in this first half. A ground that's becoming so hard for sides to journey to. Sakalis just slipping over there, but made it work for herself. And Perth are well on their way to becoming the first side in this fixture to get 3 wins on the trot. No side has had more than 2 consecutive wins in the entire history of the matchup. Still another 45 to play, and another 45 for Brisbane to stake their claim. They get back into it. Connors, she'll try and start that now. Gorry does well to skip around too. Gorry now cuts it back for Crummer. First time. Met well by Morgan Aquino, but a nice bit of build-up play for Brisbane right at the end of the first half. Great work by the two Matildas linking up here.
Well, it was great vision from Katrina Gorry just to spot Crummer.
Sure, she'll hit a special milestone next year. Hinson cuts back, and Jamila Rankin almost causing her side a world of pain. And any lip readers there, will she let you know what she thought of it? And it looked to be clear here as we have a look. Jamila Rankin just fluffing her lines a little bit there, Grace Gill.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward one there for Rankin. But Perth will be happy with this first 45 minutes.
They head into the sheds here at Macedonia Park in the first meeting between these two sides in 442 days, with the advantage at half-time between Perth Glory and Brisbane Roar. It is Perth Glory 2, Brisbane Roar 0. Welcome back to Macedonia Park in the first clash between Brisbane and Perth in 442 days on a lovely Saturday afternoon. Hannah Lowry brace leaves us at Perth Glory 2, Brisbane Roar 0. Just the one shot on target for the Brisbane Roar in the whole first half. Really struggling where Hannah Lowry able to get an Olympico in the first half. After this, a goalkeeping error, giving the ball away. And well, the first half, I think it's fair to say, Grace Gill, was Hannah Lowry's after this.
Well, she really came into the game in that first 45 minutes in this high lofted corner. And she just snuck in over the back of Shuttleworth, who's lost sight of it, lost flight of the ball. She's gone for the punch and got clean air on that occasion. Aisha
Norrie behind her there as well, perhaps slowing up here. This really the only and best chance of the whole game for the Brisbane Roar.
And Katrina Gorry has been behind every chance that Brisbane have created. A really good cutback to Crummer, who does well to get on it, but she had enough pressure from Perth. But Brisbane just struggling to find that final pass.
Brisbane Roar really struggling throughout that first half, but Katrina Gorry really at the heart of anything they were doing, and we are back underway here at Macedonia Park. A warm afternoon, and they'll start to get some reprieve as the sun sets in the west. The second stanza, the Brisbane Roar with plenty to do as it starts now. Gorry going down. The foul right on the edge and a yellow card going the way of Kim Carroll. Those two played plenty of football together. And Katrina Gorry and Kim Carroll, and a much more lively start for the Brisbane Roar.
Well, a couple of laughs there from Katrina Gorry. She was through the line. And again, we saw this combination in the first half, but just without a final product. Gorry to Crummer and returning the favour there, but Gorry flying through has just been clipped on her way down. But this is a really dangerous part of the field for a free kick. It's just a little casual foot out there from the experienced campaigner Kim Carroll in her 150th game. But you imagine Gorry or Holly Palmer will have a shot from here.
A great range for either. We've seen Katrina Gorry strike them from here from the dead ball this season. We've seen her score this week for the Matildas from a similar kind of range. Gorry striking right into the wall. It's blocked well by Perth Glory and Sierra Hinson. Able to exit for Alex Aparkis' side. Palmer does well to maintain possession. And confirmation of the yellow card for Kim Carroll. Campbell Johnson and Grace Gill here in commentary for 10 play and Paramount Plus on the start of a brilliant Pride celebration here in the A-Leagues. Grew up within a postcode of teammates Tian McKenna and Isabella Wallhead. Russia under pressure, but Brisbane are able to exit momentarily. Palmer, Norrie, Gorry does well. Connors, early ball finds its way to Crummer, still alive for Brisbane. Connors now delivering, almost sneaking its way in at the near post. Aquino manages to keep it out, but it's still alive for Brisbane. Connors striking this time and held firmly by Morgan Aquino against her former side. And it almost snuck in Grace Gill.
Well, this was a good early ball. I like that from Shay Connors. And his second delivery even more so. She's looked lively since she's returned to the field after that knock, and she got a bit of treatment from the physio, but seems to be in lively fashion, and a couple of chances in as many moments there.
Sakalis has been absolutely sensational today as well. Such a technically gifted player. Lovely layoff by Janchevski. Delivery from Rigby, finding Hinson. Just lifted over the target there, but Perth now humming, starting to get back into the game from a rhythm perspective.
Well, that was a beautiful build-up from Perth Glory. Great touches, bouncing in and out of the midfield, a nice switch across field, and this touch from Janchevski, delightful. The only thing missing from that passage was this finish from Sierra Hinson, who couldn't quite get a head over the ball, but I'd say that was Perth's best build-up passage of the afternoon. Really pretty football.
Interesting having Kaya Stevenson play that central role, that attacking midfield role. Has typically played wider in Queensland on either wing. Definitely a player that was on everyone's scouting report in the Queensland leagues. He's a bit of a lone star and a fairly underwhelming Brisbane City FQPL women's side last campaign. Big things coming at that club, however. This season have signed former Brisbane Roar player Billy Murphy. And Sakalis winding up here, saved by Bella Shuttleworth. And held the young shot stopper.
An important save there for Shuttleworth, but the ball from Mastrantonio for me to find Sakalis on that run was really, really nice. Just threaded that perfectly through Brisbane's defensive line. There was a rather large gap between those two players there, but nonetheless, Mastrantonio did well to find that one.
And a foul given. Alani Janchevski letting you know what she thought about it. It was a brilliant ball just before to open up the Brisbane defence. Jessie Rasha caught out a little bit, and here is the foul on Tash Rigby. Caught at point blank range. Fryer. Good ball for Norrie. Stevenson strikes but finds it once again after the block. Stevenson unleashes, but can't make Morgan Aquino make a save.
Well, you can see the kind of energy that Stevenson has. Hardly any backlift to get this shot away. You can tell she's a real live wire of a player.
Hinson. Janchevsky did well. Sakalis may cut in on the right. Striking now, hitting the woodwork and beating Bella Shuttleworth, but not able to creep its way in. Still alive for Perth. Rigby. Lowry. A strike coming in from Mastrantonio. And Bella Shuttleworth was all but beat there. As a sub now, Demi Koulazakis coming on.
Well, Sakalis, this is the technical ability that we talk about. She definitely had Shuttleworth beaten. It's just the woodwork positioning from Shuttleworth there. She's found herself just slightly off her line and doesn't quite have the height to reach a challenge like that. But Sakalis continues to look dangerous.
Great ball in for Sakalis, does well. Sakalis striking, hitting the woodwork for a second time in similar fashion, and she deserved one after her game, but doesn't get it. Unbelievable.
Well, she hasn't quite got her range in, but Sakalis, how dangerous is she looking from that kind of territory? She loves a little cut back in on to her right foot. Drop of the shoulder just to afford herself enough space, and again, she's beat Isabella Shuttleworth.
Not on the same page. Couldn't read the tea leaves on that occasion. And Sakalis going down once more. This time a big challenge from Holly Palmer, who we'll get a talking to. And Sakalis is drawing all kinds of fouls today.
Oh, it's what Sakalis does really well. Drives at pace with the ball at her feet and invites the contact. And Palmer, who, as we've spoken about, has had an excellent season for Brisbane on this occasion, just leaves a leg out. And Sakalis hits the ground with a fair bit of impact and force, and unsurprised to see Janchevsky lining up behind this free kick.
Well, we've seen her score them so far this season. Perhaps Hannah Lowry giving it up there, but if I were her, I'd be following this up. That's for sure. Janchevsky striking now, crawling underneath and into the arms of Bella Shuttleworth. Janchevsky recovering as well. And that is full time here at Macedonia Park. Perth Glory are now 4 games unbeaten and become the first team in this matchup to get 3 consecutive wins. Over the other side, they won 2 last season, and now they win their first meeting of the 2023 season. A brace to Hannah Lowry means it's Perth Glory 2, Brisbane Roar 0.